I'm going to hear a lot of groans and moans and all types of things, especially from my friend Erad here. I had to check out a little bit of this. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to watch of this, but I have not seen enough of Michael Wagner in a public kind of forum talking about Star Atlas. Now, I know before I get going, people live are tuning out. They're going to leave. They're going to leave and they're going to miss greatness because I'm here. And if you leave me, I won't be there for you. And what would you do without me to keep you warm? What I want to see is exactly Michael Wagner's demeanor, who, by the way, started a little Twitter trash talk with Erad out of the blue. A CEO making a game called Star Atlas took time out of his day to have a Twitter confrontation and start some shit with my friend Erad, which is ridiculous to this day. Like, to this day, I think an apology needs to happen. But I wanted to see what Michael Wagner has to say on a show that occasionally I watch, this dude named Paul Barron, who's a little stiff, but like, it's information. And I need to suck down Michael Wagner's demeanor. That just didn't sound right at all. Clip it. Let's check it out, and let's all suck down Michael Wagner's demeanor. I think he may enjoy it.
All right, so a lot happening this week, especially with Apple's new announcement around VR ecosystem.
No. Here we go.
Mr. Kyle Wilson coming back in. Great to have both of you guys.
Hey, Paul. Great to be back on the show.
Good.
Yeah, likewise.
Good.
Likewise.
Let's get into a little bit about what's happening today. Michael, let's kind of just kick it off with you.
Who's the guy on the left?
I was looking back into the archives. Last time we had you guys on was almost a year ago. So interesting. Lots happened in that 1 year. You guys have done a lot. Also, really, I think, from a standpoint of roadmap, which I want to get to a little bit later, but if you can, kind of just give me a little bit of an outline of where you've been going over the past year.
Sure. And Paul, it may have been a year, but it feels like a decade. This space moves fast, as we know, constantly transforming landscape. But we've had a really incredibly busy start to 2023 with a number of major product releases coming out. You have on display right now a showcase of our latest release in our flagship product, and that is called Showroom.
I will say what's happening right now. Let me just be a translator of everything that I'm seeing and just tell you how I'm seeing it right now. Michael Wagner has a green screen in the background, which means that he doesn't have the technical prowess to actually be able to put like a background that's Star Atlas related, or Paul does not. So as I get on this call, I know because it's happened to me. And I have no technical prowess. Pepe, not until you started working here, buddy. I know, dude. I know. Pepe, stop it. But I know this because I can see it because it's happened to me before on other shows that I appear on. All right, like when I do these like guest appearances on other shows, which has been years since I've done it, but like I've always had issues with this. Like I can't figure things out. So first off, I say that's a demerit. I don't like the fact that this dude's making a Web3 game that I want to play, but he doesn't have the technical prowess to put like a background below, or didn't prep enough to talk with Paul to have some type of I know that may seem silly, but it's like what happened yesterday to me when I went to the doctor's office. And I took Christy there for an appointment she had. And I said, okay, I was out in the waiting room for a long time. I walk in the room. I see some soap. I squeeze the soap out. And let me tell you, the color of the soap was the color of snot. It was literally snot. And I said to myself, what kind of doctor's office puts a snot-colored flavored soap in their soap dispenser? I don't feel good about that. Couldn't they spend the extra 10 cents to get the pink kind that smells a little bit different than this snot-colored soap? Right? And so then I asked one of the nurses to come in pre-head asking all these questions. I said, interesting color of soap that you have there. And she said, oh, yeah, looks like snot. And Chrissy's got issues with her back up towards her neck, and we're going in there. So this is not a nose doctor execute. This is a legitimate orthopedic surgeon, and they got snot colored soap. So it makes you think about like the decision-making process, and it makes it like it ties. I told Christy that ties back to the operation itself. Like I'm a little bit concerned because the soap is a snot color. You understand? What kind of managerial decisions are we making here? What are we saying about our operation? This is a Seinfeld episode, if you will, of epic proportions that needs to really be talked about and dissected. You really have to think about what it is that I'm saying to you. Christy, listen to me. When the soap is not colored, you gotta question it.
2.1 release, a
Just
number
like
of features
screen.
that we've
Just
added
like
to
the
this,
green
and
screen.
I'm sure we'll get into some of those, but this has come
I got
with
3
much
different ones right
fanfare,
there.
a
I'm
lot of
gonna load them up
excitement,
for
a lot
next
of
show.
downloads on Epic Game Store, and it's quite an exciting time for us. So let me pause there for the time being, because there's a lot we can cover across the ecosystem. But
I like what I'm
what
seeing.
we're looking at is
Listen,
really next generation game design development.
Listen, he's going to talk it up with the CEO speak, but like, on the real, as a gamer, I do like what I'm seeing. They have a local area where you can fly these ships, where you res these ships. It's real slick UI. I'm a big fan of what I'm seeing from Unreal Engine and the rate of production. Okay. And I do want to see a Web3 game make it. And I don't know of any other title that really has the juice to get to the point where it can become a legitimate thing and legitimize Web3 gaming. That's important to me. I'm a minority, though. A lot of people don't give a shit. A lot of gamers, they hate the mention of anything Web3 related, crypto related, metaverse, which really is a bad word right now. It's a terrible stigma attached to it. Anything in that genre, people just poo-poo it in the gamer world. Me personally, I'm actually looking forward to it. I want to see it happen. I don't know if Star Atlas is going to do it, but I feel like Star Atlas is the horse to bet on right now, because I don't see anything else being as close to as transparent, which they need more transparency. Michael, if you're watching, you need to actually put the numbers out there on the business. Let us know what's going on in that respect. Let us know what's happening with the business. Let us know what's happening with the employees. Take a cue from Cloud Imperium and what they're doing in terms of their marketing, in terms of their video production, and do it on your channel. Just take that as a template and show people the inside of the business. It's really important.
Development and graphical design.
I think, when we looked at it, we had a chance to kind of review it, pre-show, and I looked back at some of the footage that we had a year ago.
White man, is that what you're
and
saying,
I was
Kat?
amazed at the differences that you guys have leaped forward in. When you think about Web3 development, and obviously the teams that you guys have built, and you look on the roadmap without revealing the roadmap, how hard was this? Is this something that you feel like is going to be scalable, and we could see just orders of magnitude in terms of development and growth in the future?
Yes,
what are your thoughts on kind of the vision of where Web3 gaming is going to go?
Well, I think in general, since inception, our vision has been to disrupt the concept of Web3 gaming. And, again, what you're looking at.
Disrupt the concept of Web3 gaming, you're not going to do it by how it's being done right now. Like, they need to change their strategy in terms of how they put their face up out there, their business. Like, again, the only way you're going to change it is by opening the curtain and seeing what's behind it. This is the only way you're going to change it, Michael. It's a really easy concept.
Here, this is really next level, next generation game design itself. So if we remove the Web3 element just for a moment here, this is competing with best in class titles that are coming out today. And obviously we do have a long roadmap ahead of us, and there's a lot still to be built here, but our approach has also been one of iterative modular releases. And so as we develop more content internally, make those modules available to the player base and give them a taste of what's to come.
In all fairness, they have done that.
Part of this philosophy of Web3 as well is a sense of inclusion in the development process, peeling back the curtains, so to speak, and letting people see what the game development process actually looks like.
That's good. Like, that's good. They are showing more of what they're putting into the game. You're starting to see more digital assets hit, which is great. It just needs that other 50%, which is the business, which are the people, the real world, the what's happening out in the real world. Because it's not fully drawn back. The curtain's only 50% right now. You need to rip the entire curtain off, man.
Looks like. So in terms of whether or not this is scalable, I would argue it is actually more scalable for us today than it ever has been in the past,
Okay.
simply because a lot of the work that
I
we've
believe
been
that.
doing is establishing the foundation of
Right.
content production. So building out
I agree
material
with that.
libraries and asset libraries and component libraries,
Right.
those are all assets that we
Right.
can use as a studio
Right.
now as we
Right.
continue to grow
Some
and
of the
as
ships
the
look cool,
environments
man.
continue
Some of
to
the
get
ships
larger.
look really cool.
All right, so Michael, I'm sure you, along with many people that I've talked to so far, have been watching what Apple did this week. You look at what is going on with the Vision Pro, just the release of it. I mean, what was your first take? I know the price point is
By the way,
kind
Star
of the
Atlas
big
is gonna be
issue
VR
here that everybody's
compatible,
been
which is
harping
nice.
on, but just
Which
your
we
idea
saw
of where
on the
they're
channel here
going,
a couple
what
weeks
this
ago.
might mean for Web3 down the road.
Well, I wasn't at all surprised by the price point. I think if there's one thing
Also, Erad brings up a really good point about the audio. Like, I would imagine, like, this is the thing. Michael's got this headset with a headset microphone on. Like, this is what I guess I was saying about the green screen. You got content creators right here that are watching, that are giving constructive criticism here. Mine was like the green screen, right? Not having like a background that's appropriate or professional. Erad's constructive criticism is like, hey, the audio. You're talking through your headset audio. Can you not get like a mic that's a better quality? Like that as well. That is kind of where I've seen like this lackluster kind of vibe that I usually pick up from employee appearances when they try and actually showcase the work and they have their employees on. Like usually the audio is subpar or the look is subpar. When they bring out the content, when they're showing the actual game, that they're doing better on that. They are, so to be fair, they are doing better in that regard.
we can rely on with Apple is that they bring very high
It
quality
looks like
products
they
to
don't
market,
care,
but they
Chrono.
also come with
That's my
a
whole
pretty
point.
heavy
Andy
price
Rad's
tag.
point.
But obviously, this was a topic of hot discussion
I don't feel
within
like he's
the team.
a gamer, you know, Matt.
We've been
right? I
investigating
don't feel that coming from him.
multiple avenues of AI integration into our game, which is obviously also a very
I
hot
feel
topic
like you
right
might be
now.
right,
But
Matt.
you know, for us, this is a great step forward. This is a leap forward because while once again we are in these early stages of development, VR and AR has been within our roadmap since inception.
Yep.
And so as we continue to develop out, we've already done some early experimentation with VR. And for us, a game that's centered
I've
around
seen that
space
footage. It looks
exploration like
great,
Star
actually.
Atlas is so much more immersive when you have that free
He
look
keeps saying immersive. I
capability
don't like
around
it.
your spaceship. You can look down at the controls. You can analyze the cockpit and even engaging in gameplay mechanics like open air
Paul's dressed for
combat
success,
and
and Michael's
dogfighting.
got
This
a
is going to be
sweatshirt
so
on.
much
Right,
more
right.
immersive with VR. So very exciting for us to see. Again, not at all surprised by the price tag, but I think it's a great step forward and really looking forward to where AR VR tech goes
I agree,
into
dude.
the future.
I was looking at just some of the, this was on YouTube, more on Star Citizen, but this was an example of a cockpit.
Did he just say moron Star Citizen? He just called Star Citizens morons. That's not what he said? That's not what he said, Pepe? Okay.
This is actually a physical cockpit.
We saw this
Took about
a couple months back.
$30,000 to build this thing. But I look at this and I think, well, wait a minute. That's kind of what the Vision Pro is designed to do, is to replace all those kinds of
We
devices.
saw that a couple
They're
months
showing
back.
just
That
this
was a
kind
cool
of full
video.
approach. He's entering a room that is actually a gamer room that's designed to
We saw this, dude.
interact with Star Citizen. So, I mean, all that's physical right there, guys. That's a full-on 3D array, kind of like what our little set is here on TechPath. And I'm just amazed that there are a lot of gamers that would go to this extent. Now, this is radical, of course, but
The lore's
kind
pretty
of
good
back
on their
this down to
website. You should check out the
$3,500
lore,
and you think,
Aether.
oh, wait a minute, maybe
They
the
went
real
in depth a
hardcore
bit.
gamers would really go up and do those kinds of things in terms of
And
jumping
their
into
site's
that.
very well
So,
put together.
I don't know. I think it's kind of interesting. I want to jump to a clip real quick on the AR development, because this is something that I think you'll hear, and I want your feedback
feel
on
like they
this.
do,
But
Red.
let's go
I
over
do
to a
too.
clip real quick.
AirKit provides a variety of powerful features that you can combine to do incredible things, such as place virtual content on a table and walkthroughs of for you.
We've seen it.
Maps are location-based.
Look at Michael's
So when
face
you
here.
take your device to a new location, for instance, from home to the office, the map of your home will be unloaded, and then a different map will be localized for the office.
What do you
Scene
think
geometry
Michael's
provides anchors containing a polygonal mesh that estimates the shape of the real world.
Notice, our hands are partially covering up the spheres. This is called hand occlusion, a system feature that allows a person to see their hands on top of virtual content.
You can now display UI, including windows and three-dimensional content, anywhere around you.
See, Red,
Notice
have a
how
great
your
day, bro.
3D
Thanks for joining
content
us.
and 2D elements can appear and work alongside each other.
The progressive immersion style opens a portal to offer a more immersive experience that doesn't completely remove people from their surroundings. When a portal opens, people get a roughly 180-degree view into your immersive content, and they can use the digital crown to adjust the size of the portal.
Right.
All right, so a lot of interesting aspects in terms of the dev kit. Would Star Atlas be going into utilizing this kind of components coming out of Apple? What do you think in reference to kind of building the game to the next generation?
First of all,
again, like Michael's vision of Star Atlas was to always make this VR compatible. Like I don't think this is going to be a big issue going forward for them because they're using UE5 as the engine. Personally, my opinion.
As a team of sci-fi
Should
nerds,
not be
this
a
is
big
exactly this is the type of content we love, right?
Yeah.
Like this is
Sure.
every sci-fi movie you've seen starts to explore into that world of holographic UI that you can actually manipulate with hand movements, and that's exactly what Apple's delivering right now. So again, exciting.
Right.
On the dev kit side, I'm not informed enough right now to say whether or not we would use Apple's dev kit versus any of the tools that's currently available through Unreal Engine 5. We do work extensively
Using
in
Apple's
UE.
dev kit is a very listen. You don't game on an Apple, dude.
As a result
Right.
of that, I
Don't
think
game
we
on
would
an
need to
Apple.
figure out how those reconcile. But certainly, as a team, it behooves us to leverage any of the technology, the SDKs, dev kits that are available at our disposal to bring this future to life. And AR and VR are both aspects of future development across the Star Atlas ecosystem.
You had mentioned AI, Michael, a little bit earlier, and we've talked to a couple of Web3 projects that have really kind of ramped up on the use case of AI. Where do you see that moving Star Atlas kind of forward to the next level of what you guys are doing?
Well, there's a lot of ways that we can leverage it. Everything from documentation internally, things like meeting tracking and capturing audio and having that transcribed. That might seem like a small thing, but when you're in 10 hours of meetings a day,
I don't know who the dude on left is yet,
nonstop calls,
Backspace.
having
You
that
should have
quick
listened to
summary
that part.
actually benefits
I have
that
no idea.
production efficiency. However, I think taking that a step further, the ability to code more rapidly, leveraging some of the tools that are available now with respect to AI will be to our benefit. Our devs can essentially manage the AI and create content and experiences more quickly. But probably the most compelling and exciting use.
This guy on the left, man. This guy on the left is peering into our souls, man. He hasn't said one word yet, man.
Case for any video game is that clip that you just showed, which is you can have conversations with NPCs, non-playable characters that are completely non-scripted. Right, so it feels like a real interaction with another.
We know that we're going to have AI in games. It's a given. Oh, what else we got here?
That person doesn't exist. And it's very powerful, especially as a game such as ourselves that's still very early stage and growing the user base. I would use the analogy of
Star Citizen.
Questions here.
Okay, Star Citizen VR. Oh shit! Versus Star Atlas. What are we talking about here? Because Star Citizen is not planning to have VR, but what are we talking about? I'm just going to fast forward into this section. This should be interesting.
Questions here too is looking at old incumbents, trying to do this kind of the same thing, but in their old Web 2 ways. Star Citizen, they've been flip-flopping on VR since years and years. It's been almost 7 years. Will Star Atlas beat them to it? Speaking of which, love to get your take on that.
Well, I don't want to make a claim so bold.
Michael's like, I'm going to step back off of that shit because I want Star Citizens to play Star Atlas. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we're going to step back off that hot topic question. Oh, are you making this a Star Citizen versus Star Atlas clickety clack video, bro? Is that what you're doing? Michael Wagner's like stepping back. That's a smart move for Michael Wagner, not to like step on the toes, man. You know what I mean?
Bold as that, I think there's a lot of appreciation for what Star Citizen has done in their 10 or 12 years of development. I think
that's a
we
slight burn
at
too.
Automata and Star Atlas are fortunate in a lot of ways, and that
Throwing a little bit
technology
of
has
shade.
progressed substantially
10 to
over the
12
time
years.
that they've been
He
developing.
smirked when he
They
said
had
that.
to build their own game engine from scratch. We have the benefit of leveraging
He's right.
Unreal Engine
He's right, though. He's right.
5.2 is what we're working out of
Production
now,
is
but
faster.
nevertheless, Unreal Engine 5.
Right.
I
what I'm
would say
hearing
the
from all the
same is
devs.
true with the integration and development and progression of things like AR and VR. The technology, the hardware has improved substantially, and those software development kits that you were referring to, all of these tools are much better as well. So really just fortuitous timing that we conceptualized Star Atlas when we did. We came to market when we did, and it's still very difficult work and requires a lot of additional work to map these visual assets into VR. But could we beat them? I would say it's certainly possible. Certainly possible, because they have a lot of what we refer to as tech debt that they're working through now, because they've built on foundations that are a decade ahead of ours.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good insight there. And what you said about AI and really these game engines and compounding on each other, I think that's huge right now. And even the founder of Epic Games even mentioning that in a tweet previously. But looking at other games like No Man's Sky, only working with PlayStation VR as well. Could you see Star Atlas ever, being on consoles and those types of devices as well in the future? And what's your take on consoles just in general in Web3? A couple questions there.
Consoles.
Well, I'm a longtime PC gamer myself, and I don't see myself.
There we go. I like to hear this from this guy. Unexpected applause, but I do applause that. I mean, like that definitely makes me feel better.
Ever personally moving to console, but it's also one of the biggest market segments out there, and we are aggressively looking into support for console. Now, one of the elements that makes this particularly challenging for us is, and I think as you guys know, we have a very deep philosophy around on-chain architecture and crypto integration into the gaming product. And what that means is the user account system, there is a reliance on connecting
For
a
sure,
crypto
Limitless,
wallet to
no
that.
joke, bro.
Now, we've made major strides in
no
blockchain
joke,
integration, specifically Solana integration into Unreal Engine. In fact, we've released open source, the first software development kit that is a Web3 JS library that integrates Solana into.
By the way, Solana is the right blockchain to be using for Web3, period. Bar none, without a doubt. Highest TPS rates ever on any blockchain is Solana. If you're in the game dev world and you want to get into Web3, you're going to have to go Solana because of the speeds and the transactions that you're going to have in a game that's going to bring in tons of people that's an MMO. And the only one that's going to be able to handle those transactions and put it down legit for everybody on an online ledger is going to be Solana. If you're trying on maybe Polygon, I don't know. Polygon's a layer 2 on Ethereum, but I don't know, man. Polygon's trying to be that, but I just think Solana is the way to go, period.
Unreal Engine, so when you're making transactions or interacting with the blockchain,
so Web3,
all of that is done.
So essentially Web3 is being able to hook up a wallet where you can put digital assets. I'm not going to get philosophical on this, okay? But essentially Web3 gaming allows you to actually trade digital assets, especially within the game. Okay, so Web3 gaming experience would include a wallet that's tied into the game, to the interface, okay? And then you can take your NFTs, you can take your crypto, and you can trade it with other players in the game with limited friction. Okay, you want like tons of liquidity. You want people in there that are trading. I'm sure on most Web3 games that are worth anything, in my opinion, you're going to have great economic gameplay. You're going to have great industrial gameplay. You're going to have people that are going to take the game a lot more seriously because of it. Yes, you're going to have an increase in people trying to exploit it. Yes, you're going to have a lot of people trying to just farm credits or the crypto. You're going to have that. You're just going to have that. You have that in anything anyway right now with WoW, with the gold, right? You have that with all these games. You just have that. But the interface allows you to trade value with another player very easily, a la Web3 Gaming, Gad. I hope that I explained it. I can go much further into detail if you want, buddy, but I think we'll keep it Like, you know, we'll get into it a little bit more, but like, I'm very fascinated by Web3 game. There's no game out there that's really done it yet. So everybody looks at this, the Web3 gaming as a pipe dream. Like, it's never going to happen. There will be a title that does it, that employs it properly, that sparks, that goes viral. And I don't know if it's going to be Star Atlas, but there will eventually be a title that will propel it forward. And when you can get in a game and you can modify your character however you want and then own those items, right? And people say, well, what's own, right? Oh, it's just, there's nothing there. Bullshit. You know these things are important to you because you're playing games right now and you want to modify yourself to look cool, and they can sell with a tangible value in the game that's the game's value. This is going to add real life value to it. And it's going to be able to, I think, personally propel the whole gaming genre to another level. But the problem is that everybody's got a bad stigma with it because the way it was introduced was completely wrong. They tripped over their own feet and fell on their face. The entire Web3 industry came out like with this metaverse tag, right? And then it became all about NFTs and metaverse, and people haven't taken the time to thoroughly understand what a digital asset even is. But digital assets, I think, are going to change the face of not only just gaming, but pretty much the economy as we know it, the world, the global economy. My opinion.
Done just with a point and click of a mouse in game, in engine. You do not have to break the immersion. But if we think about the path to being able to enable that on console, it becomes a bigger challenge.
I say, why not give it a try,
depending
though?
on the avenue that we take to provide the initial experience for console users, this could be simplified or more complex. What I'm implying is we could quite easily deliver a non-crypto integrated version of Star Atlas as a free-to-play experience on console, but I think that eliminates a lot of the benefits that we see through the blockchain integration itself, which is true asset ownership, immutable transaction ledgers, peer-to-peer marketplaces, and this concept of play to earn or play and earn, where the crypto.
I'm in a fountain.
You notice how he got rid of the play to earn and used play and earn that I've been saying for a year and a half, 2 years right now. And I actually evolved it from play and earn to play and own.
I'm in a fountain.
If I'm not giving myself credit, nobody else is. But you guys know that are watching, that are on my level. You guys have been watching for years. You know it. I say it, it flows out into the ether and people pick it up and they start putting down exactly what it is I originally put down. This industry was called play to earn for the longest time. It sounded fucking stupid because it sounded like it was a job. It sounded like I have to clock in to get that money. Stupid. Then I said, why is people in the Web3 genre calling this play to earn? Why aren't they calling it play and earn? It isn't a job if it's designed correctly, Red Bear. Like, that's one thing I want you to get. Right now, it's all designed this way. Right now, it's designed completely incorrectly, but that design could be changed by coding, by developers that care about the game first and the currency second.
I'm in a fountain.
Which is why you saw the change in phrasing from Michael Wagner. That's why. Red says you can make from a hobby, you can make money from any hobby a job. I don't know if making money from a game would anything I'd be considering a job. I want to make money from gaming. I think that's fucking cool, man. If I can log in and I can make a couple bucks space trucking, dude, are you kidding me? Why would I not want to do that? Like, I don't understand that philosophy, Red. I love you to death, dude. You are the super mod, Red. I love you. You got that green tickle sword for a reason. I love the way you react to things. I love the way you moderate things. But like this thing, we don't agree on, you and I, and that's okay. And I love you for it. But like, if I can make money from a video game, just playing the video game, fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah, man. If I can buy myself a sandwich because I took something from Alisar to Daymar, right? If I can buy myself some gas for the day because I was in Star Citizen and I shipped something from point A to point B and I could buy gas in the real world with it, please.
Yes, can I get an amen? Yes.
Why would I ever turn that down, man? I gotta live, you know? If the game can affect me in the real world, if the game can make me have more purchasing power in the real world, are you kidding? Why would I ever want to turn that away? I don't understand it.
Crypto that they receive in game through participation, actually.
Who's going to pay for it? Anybody that, listen, look at the EVE Online system, Jay. G asks, who is going to pay for space trucking? I could see selling fancy armor and stuff like that. Dude, look at EVE Online as an example. Imagine the Plex inside of EVE Online. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but imagine Plex was an actual cryptocurrency, and you took a contract and you took your freighter and you shipped something to Jita, right? But the Plex is actually worth something, and you take it to an exchange and you cash it out for the easy currency that's the fiat currency for the dollar. So you cash it out, and boom, you got that cash, and you put it into your gas tank. Please.
Yes, can I get an
That's how you get paid.
Yes.
That's how you get paid. That's what's built into Web3 gaming. That is Web3 gaming, and I don't think anybody has gotten it yet, because they're so viscerally hating metaverse. They're so viscerally fed bullshit from YouTubers that don't know what the fuck they're talking about. They have not explained it properly. But it's not their fault. They're going off of the examples that the industry has given to us. They're going off of a flopped failure of a presentation that the entire Web3 gaming genre has given to us, because when they brought it out, they tripped all over their feet and they fell flat on their face.
Actually has real world value. So we're still working through all of that. I wouldn't say that's on the immediate.
Like anything could be said like that. Backspace, it's a nice fantasy, but the path is laden with snakes and goblins. Right, but in order to make it happen, you have to go down that path of snakes and goblins, and you have to slay them correctly.
I'm in a fountain.
Don't give up. Slay 'em. Slay. Slay. You guys gotta seriously slay them. For real. This whole industry needs to wake up and smell the coffee. I'm done with this. This is what needs to happen. I'm done with this because I'm not correctly seeing it yet. And I think Star Atlas tweaking it, giving them this constructive criticism, can possibly do it on the back of Unreal Engine 5.